Today we'll talk about tricks in C language to save code space. Okay, we'll talk about two methods. Of course, there are many different methods, but we will talk about two main methods. I will tell you about them very shortly. Okay, and this also will help you simplify the C code and save, as we said, code space. Say, for example, we have a function, this one here, a function that returns an integer. Let's call it function. It takes two arguments, integer a and integer b. Okay, what it does actually, it returns a value called val, and the value is obtained by taking those two arguments in the input parameters, or parameters, two parameters as integer values, two parameters, and it compares them. This function compares the two inputs or the two parameters, integers. If a is greater or equal to b, then associate the value 1 to variable val. If this is not true, then associate to val, the variable val, associate the value 0. And this operation is called ternary operator. Remember that it's called ternary operator. Notice that in one line only we have saved multiple of lines in C language. So why? Because now instead of saying if A is equal or greater than B, then open parentheses, val equal 1, if not true or else, then val equal 0. So we have reduced maybe 4 or 5 lines into one single line. Very simple. But remember, you have to follow exact format here. First, put the condition. Okay, if this condition is true, after condition, put question mark. The first argument that comes after a question mark comes the value that must be associated to variable val if this condition is true. So if this condition is true, then associate the first one to val. If it is not true, if it is false, then associate the second variable value to variable val. It's very simple. Okay, just remember that this is called ternary operation or operator. Okay, so in here we take two values. For example, say we a is taken as 5 and b is taken as 10. So integer 5, a is 5 and b is 10. If 5 in here is greater than 10 or equal or greater than 10, no. So let val equal, if it is no, let val equal 0. On the other hand, let's say, for example, we have here 7 and 2. So a is 7 and b is 2. Okay, is 7 is greater or equal to b? Yes, it is greater. If it is true, then let val equal 1. Notice that we have saved so many different lines in C language encoding, right? If once this ternary operation is completed, it takes in the value val and it returns it. So that's as simple as that. Then this function returns an integer with value val. So in this case, it will either return the integer 1 or integer 0, okay, because it's returning integer, okay? So remember that this function will return either 1 or 0, based on whether a is greater or equal to b, the two arguments taken as input to this function, okay? Now, let's move on. In the main program in C language, we define 3 integers, x, y, and z. Okay, and then we say that x equal function, the return of the function. Remember, we just discussed the function upward. So the function will return either 1 or 0. Okay, depending on this condition, whether it is met or not from the arguments taken as an input to this function. So function will return 0 or 1. So thus x will be either 0 or 1. In this case, since a is greater than b, so the function will return 1. Okay, so now x will become 1. Now, we print this one just to make sure that we are doing the right thing. Just verification, okay? Simple. Now we move on to the next calculation. We say z as defined above as integer. So integer z is equal, is the variable integer z is equated to whatever whatever falls within those two parentheses, between this one and this one. Okay, so whatever inside those two parentheses, the outward parentheses, we have two arguments. We have the first argument and we have another argument. Okay, the first argument is y equal 10 times x. Y equal 10 times x. There is another argument, y plus 10. Between those two arguments, there is comma. So this comma here, what it says that first evaluate this argument, okay, and then evaluate the second argument because there is comma. So evaluate this first and comma, then evaluate the second argument, and whatever comes out as a result from this argument, from evaluating the last argument after the comma, associate this value to integer z. Very simple. We say, okay, so but where do we get the value x from? Okay, so we know that y is integer. Y is integer. Where do we get x? X was evaluated from function. So if x was 1, we just plug in 1 in here, and we say that y equal 10 times 1. Okay, so now we know that value y equates to integer 1, comma. Now we say evaluate this argument. This argument equal y plus 10. Why we know it is why we know it is 10? Because x is 1, x times 10 is 10, y is 10. So we say y plus 10 equal 10 plus 10 equal 20. So the second argument after the comma evaluates to 20. What this operation or comma operation says, evaluate the last argument, okay, to integer variable z. So now z is equal to y plus 10, which is 10 plus 10 equal 20. And that's what we called comma operator. Remember that in comma operator we have saved so many C lines when programming in C language. Okay, just imagine, because in here we say y equal 10 times x. Okay, but we included multiple calculations within one single line while coding in C language. Okay, and why do we do that? Why do you think we do that? We do that because remember that in microcontrollers, in embedded systems, we have very small microcontrollers, and there is enough space, memory space within those little microcontrollers. Okay, but remember, they don't have the huge amount of memory that's included within the laptop and PCs, personal computers. Their memory is very limited, and every byte and every word within those microcontrollers, the smart chips, right? We have to take advantage of them. We have to use them very wisely. That's why those kind of ternary operator and comma operators help us a lot. We embedded designers. Embedded means anything that is designed by using those little computer chips, okay? Because the space is very valuable. We call it real estate, or real estate is not houses actually. Real estate, memory real estate, it means how much space we have within those little computers, okay? So we have to be very careful not to consume too much space from those tiny computers. Otherwise, we will run out of memory, okay? Because everything written in this code here is stored in the RAM, and the RAM inside those microcontroller units, the RAM is compared to the computers is very small. So we have to be very wise using every byte and bit of those microcontrollers, okay? So now we know how to work with ternary operator. Ternary operator, we say, okay, that if this condition is true, then let value equal 1. If it is not true, then let value equal 0. The second one after the semicolon, okay? And that's simple. The second one, we call it comma operator. In comma operator, we put in one line multiple equations, and whatever evaluates, whatever term at the end term or the last term after the commas, like say you have multiple commas, the last term in this line of the comma operators, operator, the last argument, okay, or the last term is associated or equated, z equates to the last evaluated term in this comma operator line, okay? Remember that. Now, just to make sure that we are on the right track, we just print the value of z. Let's now evaluate this one. Remember that we have function 7 and 3. Now this is a and this is b. We say if a is greater than b or equal to b, then let the output be 1. Otherwise, let it be 0, x, okay? Let's run. By the way, I'm using Code Blocks revision 1712. You can download it for free. Just go to Google, Code Block, download it, and you can do the same programming for free. By the way, I will leave the whole code for you in the comment or description of this video. Feel free to copy it for free and experiment on it. Okay, let's run the code now. Let's run it. Okay, run. It says x is equal to 1 and z equal 20, which is correct. Okay, x equal 1 and z equal 20. Let's close it. Okay, and now let us reverse the situation. Let's make a smaller than b. Let's make a equal, say, 5. Okay, and let b is equal to 9, or 9. Okay, so let's run this one. Remember, this is a and this is b. If a is less than b, then the x should be 0. Why? Because that's what the ternary operator will produce, that the value, the variable val, will take upon evaluating this ternary operation. Let's run and make sure that we are on the right track. Run, okay, and says x equals 0, which is true, and z is equal to 10, which is true also. Okay, let's close, and let's go again to the code. Make sure that everything is working fine. Remember, just review this code and you will find that the results we obtained, the two results, when a is greater than b, or when b is less than a, when a is less than b, we got the correct results. Okay, so download this code. I will leave the link for you for this code. I will leave it for you in the comment or in description. Please help yourself, download the code, enjoy it, and learn how to save, how to simplify your C coding in the language, in C language, and how to save code space or real estate, not houses, because houses are very expensive in Canada. Ha ha ha! We are saving space for memory in the RAM. You remember that the RAM of this chip is relatively speaking smaller than the RAM of the computer. So we have to be very nice, very efficient while coding. We have to minimize the coding space as much as possible because memory is very limited inside those little smart machines. Okay, so that's why we use one of the reasons why we use ternary operator and comma operators, okay, comma operators, mainly to make coding simple and to reduce space when the memory space is limited, or when the memory real estate is very strict or limited. Okay, well, again, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and you have great weekend. Please right now go and like and subscribe. I will always try my best to bring you valuable advices, valuable tricks, technology, software programming, hardware, embedded systems, and take it from your big brother Firas, because I have very long experience in technology and in human relations, in management systems and things like that. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and God bless you. You have a great weekend. Bye now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.